They say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering succotash, son.
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast. This week again with Lucy and Estelle. Thank you, Estelle, for holding the fort last time on your own again. But again, I thought you did a great job. I listened to it back and I was laughing in public. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. But so glad to be back. So glad to have the team back together. And again, like Estelle said last week, hello to everyone who's new. I know we've had quite a big influx of people, so thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully you'll stick around and like what you see. So this week, again, another Dynamite review. So it's the go home show for Double or Nothing. So quite big stakes on this one. I have to say, Estelle, I totally agreed with your rating for last week, 9.5. I mean, yeah, it's high, but it deserved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, and this episode is similar where it's like, what more could you possibly want? I was a bit on the fence about this episode until some of the last sequences because it really came together, which I'll get into when I break it down. But I really loved the first half of this show in particular. I mean, this well, the word sitting down, but this face to face with Hangman and Ospreay, and then the trios match blew my mind. So I had a great time with this show, and I mean, if I already wasn't convinced to watch Double or Nothing, I think it really did its job at being an effective go home show.
I agree about the first half. I thought the first half was excellent, like really enthralling, entertaining. I feel like it kind of fell off a little in the second, like in the mid bit, and then towards the end it went back up again. But I don't think it ever reached the same heights that it's set like right at the very start, to be honest.
Yeah. So should we jump into it?
Yeah, let's do it, baby.
Announce our set. Okay.
I don't think so.
So we had Tony Schiavone in the ring, mediating, hosting, even though he was just there for the first minute. The announcement also like interactive, engaged with the conversation as Renee was later on. But yeah, we have Hangman and Ospreay face to face, and immediately we had lots of security around an Ospreay with his crazy hairdo. I don't know what was going on this week, but I want a fan. I want a fan.
It was very different.
Very different. And he was like, do you know what, guys? He dismissed. And he was like, do you still drink? To Hangman, he had some beer brought over. And yeah, I mean, at first, I wasn't sure where this was going to go because even though this has been face-on-face dynamic, it seemed like maybe they were playing into Ospreay kind of having some heelish antics or maybe being not as rootable as Hangman. So at the start, I was like, ooh, is this just a bit of like a snide dig? And the whole time I was watching this, I thought, someone's getting that beer bottle smashed over the head and getting, you know, some kind of move like a buckshot or whatever onto the broken glass. That's happening. Obviously, that didn't happen. But yeah, we had the peace offering of the drinks. Hangman initially quite skeptical. And Ospreay, you know, he's saying he's petitioning for them to be the main event, which has been confirmed as them being the main event. And I think as this segment went on, which I'll finish covering in a second, I feel like it absolutely deserves it. It has the stakes of the big picture. Who is going to be the guy going forward? Yeah. And the promo was just fantastic. I mean, as I say, the easy route would have been to have had Ospreay maybe being just having subtle heel sort of, you know, can't think of the word, like heel tones in his promo, but they never went for that. They really did lock into the face on face route, and like I say, it totally subverted my expectations because I was thinking a bottle's going to be broken, we're going to have a brawl, and we never got that. So yeah, I think it's definitely the right decision to go forward with this. Do you agree?
Oh, completely. I was sold, I believe like a couple of weeks ago, I was sort of sold on Ospreay's being an arsehole. Like, come on, he's clearly the heel in this situation. But in this, you felt sympathy for them both. And they were also kind of both being a little bit they both showed both sides of themselves. So there was like a moment later on where Ospreay was taking some pretty low blows on Hangman, like mentioning Christopher Daniels, for instance. But it it was so hard like to choose your favourite in this one. Ospreay like mentioned his son, saying he wants his son to see him as world champ. He wants to make those weekly flights to and from America worth it. And I was like, damn, I believe you. Like, I really believe him when he's saying that. But then Hangman came in and made the point, like, for you, it's a professional accomplishment, but for me, it's personal. Like, and then he said, I don't want this opportunity, I need it. And his voice cracked. And I was like, oh my God, how is this man real? Like, this is straight out of a fan fiction. I think it just sums it up because people in the crowd were on their feet. It was a promo battle, right? There was no action. No one laid a fist on each other, but people were on their feet, like fully engaged. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, because both of the men had so much conviction in what they were saying, which
Yeah.
added to that believability. And the stakes felt higher than anything, even though by the end of it they'd kind of come to sort of a peace treaty kind of thing. But I think as well, what added to it is the unpredictability. Now, I do have my prediction, which we'll get into at the end. I'm very convinced in who I think will win and what the main event for All In will be now, following on from this. But I still think there is some plausible deniability for either one. Like, either one could just take it, because it's like, on one hand, you've got the Swerve and Hangman feud, and you've also got Hangman's redemption. But then on the other hand, it's really, it is simple, the storyline of, the O2 and I'm from London and it's my hometown. But that would be a huge draw to have Will as the champion. So I could see those two arguments, either way, even though I have an opinion. But yeah.
I also have an opinion and thoughts of where this is probably going to go. And just mentioning Swerve, like, obviously this was mentioned in this segment. Like, Hangman was like, I've only got the one win I should have that should make me feel good. Like, it's tinged with like regret and everything. I need to know there's some kind of light at the end of this 2-year tunnel of hell. It's just like, oh, I feel it's like, how can you feel sympathy for this guy? Because he's the one who set Swerve's house on fire. But you do feel for him. I really do feel for him. And then, Ospreay going into, well, the fans trust me because I'm real. Hangman's not always fully trustworthy, but then Hangman making a really good point, like, would their trust be enough to beat Moxley? And I love this because it was very real. Ospreay was like, well, I don't know. I've wrestled him twice and lost, so I don't know. But you've beat him, so why don't you show me how to beat him? If I beat you, then I can definitely beat Moxley. And I love that little, like you mentioned, like sort of the business sort of agreement that they went to in the end, like where Ospreay was like, if it's you, I'm happy for you, and if you need a friend, I've got your back. We've got a common enemy. It's such a unique way to go about it, where they really badly want to beat each other, right? But there is a common goal. There is a greater good, I suppose, to all this. Like, that they have it in the heart. They know in the heart that whoever wins, in theory, is going to go on and beat Moxley. I've seen a lot of people online complaining that, like, oh, they're going through all this, but one of them's just going to lose to Mox, which I understand, but that's not a foregone conclusion necessarily, is it?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Well, people think that
Oh
one
my
of them's going to
God.
lose and then Darby's going to come back because he's just topped Everest, hasn't he? Probably wrong choice of words there. But
Yeah. I mean, that was the other thing that I really enjoyed in this segment, was that they really put the world title, Moxley, the Death Riders, the common goal, the stakes. And yeah, I mean, it's very, weighing up with who's going to win, what's the storyline going to be. But at the end of the day, they are going to be facing Moxley, and both of them as face champions have different appeals. You've got Will, who's this new blood 2.0 Dynamite. He's not corporate, but he kind of is the AEW Cena, in that Super Cena in that he's got that kind of fanfare about him. He's very
It's a
rootable.
controversial
I mean,
statement.
go to the arena. Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose like we've seen, he had a lot of, but
I know what you mean.
he's that marketable face. He's
Yeah,
doing the social media. He's doing the media runs. He's
yeah.
anywhere he needs to be. He's like I say himself. He's putting the hours in. Every week he's there. Despite living in England, he's not asleep. Which God, I'm just thinking that must be terrible for your health. I'm like, I know you really don't want to move to America, but how sustainable is it? Because like the match rate you're putting on, and you know how are you conserving your energy? Because surely like being jet lagged every week to that extent, and the physicality you're putting on your body, and also the training, the gym, and the diet regime is probably on. I mean, it's not my place to say, but it's just a little bit concerning because I knew that information already, but I'm just like, but anyway, he's putting in. He's putting in the minutes, right? He's putting in the miles. And then you've got Hangman, who's more rough around the edges. He's a day one. He needs it for his salvation, not just for Will. Yes, it would be lovely for him to wrestle in front of his hometown friends and family, but for Hangman, it's more than just being lovely. It's salvation. It's like you say, coming out of that tunnel. So, and then you put Moxley into the mix, and it's like with Hangman, the story kind of leads in because it's sort of like losing sight of yourself. Like he's kind of lost sight of himself and what's important. We as the fans have kind of lost what's important. John Moxley's coming to try and like change all of that, change the landscape. That was his original MO, and he's literally got the title in the briefcase. You know, we never see that, and you can't give that storyline prop enough credit for what that does subconsciously. We don't even think about it that much, but that's the whole point. So yeah, I don't know. They're sort of different opponents for Moxley because if he goes against Ospreay, it's going to be a bit more clean cut, or like you want to be the new guy. But with Hangman, he's going to have more to toy with him, more to break him down.
Yeah, it's a bit
different each way.
yeah, it's a bit deeper with Hangman, which is both a good and a bad thing at the same time. So like I feel like Tony Khan's maybe still tossing it up between the two of them. I think he maybe doesn't even know, to be honest. Because, like, on the one hand, you have Hangman, who's like, it's quite a deep traumatic story, like, for all the reasons you just said, it means sort of more. That's maybe more difficult to sell, but it,
Then like the superhero story of like the final battle,
exactly,
Will Ospreay comes in and he saves the day, and
exactly that.
do they want to tie the Hangman story up with like a neat little bow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very overwhelming thing to do, and it would be if they could pull that off. Holy shit! Like that would be the sprinkle on the ice cream sundae that is the Swerve Hangman feud, Hangman storyline arc. It would be absolutely, it'd be a Disney ending. It'd be fantastic, but it's a huge, huge thing to take on in it. That
Yeah. It'd be difficult to pull off. It's a bit more intricate in the way that you'd have to execute it, whereas the Osprey thing, and this is a testament to him, you can't really go wrong with it. I feel like he would nail it no matter what. And I feel like that was encapsulated, is that even a word? I don't know. You know what I mean? In this segment where he was like, Osprey was very much just like, I'm gonna do my best. Just like angel emoji, like I'm gonna do my best. It was very clean cut, like you said. Whereas with Hangman, it's more like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm good enough, but I'm gonna try. And I don't know if I'm articulating this right, but he seemed just very fierce in this. Very just
yeah,
like,
they fully
I'm gonna just, I'm so happy to be here. I'm just gonna do my best.
yeah. Whereas before it's kind of veering off and like umming and ahhing, and he'd make like the odd dig. In this, he was very much in his lane of I am a good citizen. I am a babyface. Yeah. I'm just gonna do my best. And at the end, it kind of alluded the way he was sort of like, maybe I won't be good enough, but if I'm not, then I'm gonna sit back for the greater good of AEW. It was very, very noble.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Then we had Moxley coming out, heading into the arena with Marina, who's like tensions are on the rise. It's time to embrace the Anarchy. And yeah, this led into the trios match, which was Mox and the Young Bucks with Swerve, Joe, and Hobbs. And there was something about Swerve just being in the segment after. And the fact that they brought up the big picture of Moxley, and then it's like Swerve is literally fighting Moxley, and Hangman's like a hair away from Swerve and Mox. Like, I don't know, there was just palpable, and it's like Swerve's already kind of. Well, I guess it depends how you take it. Maybe Hangman's one step ahead, maybe Swerve's one step ahead because Swerve's legitimately fighting him, but not for the title. But yeah, do you know what I mean? There was just something about having him in such close proximity that, oh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And even though, like the title's not being defended at Double or Nothing, it's still like feels like there's huge stakes. Like it's like you don't need it because he's still in like Moxley as champ is still very much included in this story in an important way where it has implications with Swerve, and then all the implications that ties into Hangman, etc. So yeah, you're right. And I didn't think about it like that, but the fact that yeah, Swerve literally got his hands on him tonight on Dynamite, was very cool. And I have to say that I think Swerve was the standout in this match.
I was gonna say that. I agree because now I have like a little thing where every trios match, I always like comment this person was the standout, and I literally wrote that Swerve was my standout because he was so slick, so good in this match. So glad you said that.
Yeah, glad we're on the same page. As per usual, we share a brain cell. But he was giving Lucha Underground in this. Like I can't. I think to your point, it was like he was so slick. Like he was, very fast paced. Like it seemed like he was pulling his best moves out of the bag, and it was just, yeah, it was giving Lucha Underground. It was throwing me back to the good old days. But I really thought this was Swerve's match.
Yeah, 100%. And the match was just like I alluded to at the start. It was absolutely fucking incredible. We had Joe and Mox out at the gate, picking up where they left off from Beach Break. These fast, rapid matchups. No one was ever, rest holds and just drawing out the hot tag. It was never like that. It was hot. It was tense. They wanted their hands on each other. They weren't waiting for Anarchy in the arena. They were ready to kill each other tonight, which was just so exciting. Just tornado offense, like I said, very Lucha Underground-esque. And how cool was that house call with the double stomp as well to the outside of the ring? That was sick. I loved it. And yeah, one thing that I want to give credit to, which, the faces in this storyline is that morale is never lost. Which, like, there's been some real low points in this story of the Death Riders. And some very contentious decisions at certain pay-per-views where it felt like, how are they going to come back from this? But the baby faces, and I think it really is a credit to the wrestlers. It's not the booking, it's not anything. It's the wrestlers themselves who were just able to get into that ring and rally people around them every time. And yeah, Swerve, like I say, is a standout, and he definitely amassed the most morale, I think, in this match.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just so fun. It was just so fun. I feel like we've had a lot of these types of matches as of late where it's, like trios. And it's just been all go from the very start. But at the same time, it was like weaving in lots of story as well, and it actually not feeling like just a pointless match, which sometimes can be the risk with like a big tag team match. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I loved everything about it. I loved Swerve and Joe just casually moving out of the way, doing the traditional Samoa Joe bit. And Joe diving. I just a bit of reflection. I've just said I love everything about it. I don't love Moxley teaming up with the Young Bucks, actually, to be honest.
Why not?
I'm not comfortable with it he wouldn't do that. He's not a bootlicker. You know, he's the opposite of a bootlicker.
But that was the whole thing of like that they're on common ground now
I
because
know.
of Gabe Kidd. They'd been able to, with their New Japan connections, been able to convince Gabe Kidd to come over.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. It just doesn't
And
100%.
maybe it's like Moxley's kind of been warped throughout, like he's on this path of self-righteousness, but along the way he's kind of lost himself.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, why not? I feel like he's like anti-establishment guy. It just feels wrong. It just something about it feels wrong. The
But
point
maybe
about
he's using him to his own gain.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. But also,
He's not in there like, oh, the Young Bucks are my best friends. He's in there like, oh, I need to get a job done, and these two people who I think he does view as lower down than him, he's like, oh, I can use him.
there was moments in the
And the
match
Young Bucks genuinely think they're on the in with the Death Riders. That's the way I'm reading it.
like they're being mugged off, but they don't realize. Type of
Yeah, like they're the ones who are. It's not the Death Riders coming to the Young Bucks being like, "Oh, please, can we have an alliance?" It's the other way around. It's the Young Bucks bootlicking the Death Riders, and the Death Riders being like, "Well, we can gain something from this."
Yeah, I guess.
I'm trying to make you feel better.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're doing a good job. I just think there's something about it because they're EVPs. They've technically got all the power. So like, why would they need to go to someone else for power? I don't know. The Gabe Kid point is a good one. Like they've used them for that game. They've got, they've come to an agreement. But he's not even in the Anarchy in the Arena match, like officially. He's not
No, he'll be
officially on the
there,
team. But obviously
He'll be there.
Obviously he'll be there. Like he turned up, spoiler, right at the end of the show tonight. But I've just found that quite amusing as well. I thought the point of bringing him in was like, oh, he's replacing Pac at first, but nah, apparently not.
I think 2 points. I think with Gabe Kidd, they're trying to still leech onto the surprise because obviously there was still some surprise and fun with seeing him tonight. And I think at Anarchy, even though it will be a bit old, they're still leaning on that surprise element rather than just
him,
like
turning up out of nowhere type of thing.
Yeah, and with the EVPs, I think that's the point. Is like they don't have power. Their power is just in their like they do have power in name and in money, but they don't have the respect of the locker room. They don't have the respect of the fans. They have to buy that and kind of schmooze their way into it, sort of thing. So it's like I know you said why the Young Bucks are very in kayfabe, very egotistical, and they're all about being liked, and they don't care who they have to step on. But they'll pretend that they don't care about what people think, but they really do care about what people think. That's kind of the way I read into it. So the reason they're sort of sucking up to the Death Riders is it's like kind of the rich kid paying off the bully, the school, the playground bully.
I think, did you say that last week? I can't. I feel like you made a point similar to that, and I was like, yeah, that's a good metaphor. That works for me. That makes it make more sense to me. Appreciate it.
I agree in the respect that, Yuta and Claudio are there. And so it would have been nice to kind of see them do stuff, like rather than be on the sidelines. But then this match was so fun, and then the Young Bucks and Mox working together was like kind of a fresh matchup. So I kind of was like, well, I guess it was worth it. But I understand your reservation, especially when you really love Moxley and like you're very like protective over Mox, and
it's difficult.
You have like a kind of a viewpoint of him, how you like when you really love a wrestler, you want him to be presented in like protected is the word, and
I have a strong sense of what his character is and his values and stuff, and I feel like this doesn't align with his values. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a person watching on. I don't know anything about actually what's going on inside his head. So if he doesn't fit the perception I have of his character, then
no headcanons.
That doesn't mean it's wrong necessarily.
No, but as well, like our deep stuff. So like, but when you break it down, like we've had to jump through a lot of loopholes to kind of get to the point to justify. But if you're a casual viewer, you might misconstrue Moxley's character because you might not look at it that nuanced. You might just think, oh, well, he's working with these chicken shit heels, so he is also a chicken shit heel.
Hmm.
Maybe. I
Yes,
don't know.
I think there was moments
Maybe
in the
that's
match
your
where he
theory.
was like cheering on the Bucks, and I was like, "What are you doing? Don't do that. Stop."
Uh, um, yeah, so the conclusion of the match, we had the EVP trigger being set up with Swerve, and it was missed, he ducked. It was great timing. Then we had the roll up on one of the Bucks while the Coquina Clutch was put in on another one. I can't remember which one, but it
Which is
was
which?
one. Well, there's a great way to do that. Matt Jackson has more hair. Matt for more.
Oh, that's clever. Did you come up with that yourself?
No, I read it on Reddit.
Oh. But they both got
But
quite long hair.
yeah, but like Nick's kind of got like a receding
Is
hairline.
Nick the one with lighter hair?
Yeah, like Matt's more like tanned and like darker hair.
That that is gonna help.
Matt more.
Yeah.
Nick not. I don't know. Not as much.
Stupid
Um,
things like that. That's how I passed my GCSEs.
yeah. I mean, there's just like wrestling things where you can't tell people apart. I mean, I couldn't tell as a kid Christian and Chris Jericho apart. I thought they were the same person.
Yeah, oh my God, same. And I got Edge mixed up as well. It was sort of like the three of them, quite interchangeable for me as a kid.
What if Copeland comes back at Anarchy?
Oh Christ! So
What
I
if Eddie
thought,
Kingston comes back at Anarchy?
yes,
Sorry, I'm just projecting now.
I've seen a lot of people saying that they think Eddie Kingston's going to come back. Like even the
So good.
odds.
So good. Um, but yeah, and I was like, how's Mox going to take this? Because talking about their alliance or whatever you want to make of it, the Bucks lost the match. They were pinned, so I thought he would be kind of outraged. But we had the Death Riders post-match beatdown. We had Shibata coming down. We had Marina with the low blow onto Shibata. Willow coming down. Kenny, sort of like a prelude to the Anarchy and the Arena vibes.
Bit of fun chaos.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun chaos. The one winged angel was set up with the table, but Claudio bails Matt Jackson out. Joe's like, we're coming for you tonight if you like it or not. So this was a bit of fun, a bit of chaos. And then the fact that Claudio bailed Matt Jackson out, I was like, well, I guess there is no outrage at them losing the match. That's kind of
Yeah, I guess.
my answer. But yeah, I my first thought was I would have liked to have seen some kind of spot, and I felt like this because there was a lot of things that happened where we didn't get a spot. So that was kind of my gripe with the show. But then at the end, obviously, the last 10 minutes, there was every fucking spot being spammed like a game, like a 2K game. So I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. But at the start, I was like, But I liked how it was kind of like breaking the fourth wall of like, we're coming for you. Because normally it's like, oh, they ran away. I guess we'll have to just go home now. I liked that. I liked how they were like, we're coming for you.
Yeah, like we're gonna hang around, and we're gonna wait, and we're gonna find you. We're not just gonna sort of be sad and shrug our shoulders. Yeah, and it just like split it out a bit, and it added a little bit of anticipation for later in the show because you kind of were expecting it at any point.
Well, I forgot about it because I've got short-term memory loss. So at the end, when they were like, "Oh, we're here," I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot
Remember
about
you
that," and it was a
guys?
nice little surprise. It's like Finding Dory.
That concussion's still doing you in.
It is. So we had Alicia with the Hurt Syndicate and the Legal Council. MJF shaking the opposing lawyer's hand. So like, is that going to lead into anything? Is he kind of finesse the lawyer for the contract? But we didn't find anything out about that, so I don't know if that's going to lead into anything.
I wonder if anyone on the internet knows who these lawyers are, because they must have been.
Well, one of them, Max Sterling, wasn't he like a wrestler?
Yeah, I've seen something like that. This is what I mean. I need someone in the
A
comments to
type D
confirm.
wrestler. Like,
Yeah, just an extra.
yeah, he was like an NPC. I don't know about the other guy. He
Yeah,
did have more lawyer vibes.
I need someone to let me know who are these paid actors. What's their law? I'm sure they've got some.
So this is the official induction of MJF into the Hurt Syndicate. And MVP was riding hard for MJF. And also the local town heat. I've never known a segment where they just had such beef with like the crowd. Like, oh my God, every 2 seconds it was like,
shut up.
So they put in pen to paper, they all go down, sign the contract. Bobby's still a little bit hesitant, but he does it in the end. And then, they have the little Hurt Syndicate merch, which is so funny. Like, just seeing Max with that hat on, just hilarious. And I don't know if you saw, but Lashley put out like a tweet of him on the plane, and it was Max sat like a few rows behind him with like his little hat on and just looking absolutely like made with himself. So, yeah, hilarious.
Bless his little cotton socks.
But we couldn't ride the high for much longer because out came Dustin and Sammy Guevara.
Oh my God. Who asked for this?
Yeah, this was quite a long, like, Dustin got quite a lot of promo. And he's a great promo. He's great promo. He's very great and fired up. But it's just like, I can't bring myself to care. I was also a big fan of the fact that Sammy never got handed a mic.
Right. So, exactly, because like, Dustin was like, like you say, cutting a really long promo, and he towards the end, he was, and just noticed like 1 or 2 times, like he was stumbling on his words a little bit. I'm like, Sammy, help him, do something. You could say something. I mean, listen, I'm extremely grateful that he didn't, but it's just hilarious to me that he was just behind him the whole time, just going, yeah, oh yeah, what he said. It's like, oh, how pathetic.
It was pathetic. It's like when your mum takes you to the doctors.
Yeah.
You're just sat there and your mum's just cutting a promo on all your symptoms. That's what that was giving.
Yeah, it really was.
And then the Hurt Syndicate are in the ring and they're no selling it. They're just like, this is an inconvenience. They're not selling it as like a threat. They're selling it as an inconvenience. So you're not like, oh, I can't wait for this match. This is good. The stakes are high. Like, no.
No.
Because the Hurt Syndicate don't give a shit, so why should I give a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I would anyway, but like, at least if they were like, at least for MVP, there was a bit of tension of him choosing Max over Dustin, because obviously they both got history of both, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Sammy cutting a promo on MJF, because they go back and they're the 4 pillars. Just something. But there was no... They came out with the shitty little Ring of Honor titles that no one cares about and just killed the vibes. They were just a vibe killer.
Right, exactly. This is what I really disliked about this. So I'm not sure if it was really fully Dustin and Sammy's fault. I think the position they were put in is really shit because everyone really cares about MJF joining the Hurt Syndicate. It's been building up for ages. Like, is he going to join? Is he not? Finally, this was like the official thing.
Weeks.
Yeah, for weeks. This was the official thing that yes, finally is going to. And then you try to like turn it into being about like this feud that is non-existent, that's not been building. We've only been building to Max joining. We've not been building to any sort of feud. So then it's sort of like happy moment. Oh my God, Max joined, yay! Like whatever you feel about him, even though he's a heel, it was funny. If you didn't think it was heartwarming, you can at least appreciate that it's funny. That he's like, yes, I'm finally in. Like he's got the cap on. He says it's the happiest day of his life, calling his mum a dumb bitch, etc. And then Dustin comes down being like, I hate your guts, Max. And it's like, whoa. Hold on a fucking second. This guy is just beaming ear to ear because his best friends have finally like accepted him into the group. And you're coming down all guns blazing like, I hate you. It's like, why? Why'd you hate him? It just didn't connect. There was nothing. It just lacked. There's no flow between those two things.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we have to have the match at Double or Nothing. But if that's who I want the Hurt Syndicate to be present tag team champions. I think it's so important that we keep the momentum up.
Yeah.
But if this is the best that you can come together with their opponents, like you say, we're riding the high of Max joining the Hurt Syndicate. There really is no need to throw this match together. There really isn't. Like, give time to other matches, put other people on the card. And also, like, how is this going to play out? They're going to go against the Hurt Syndicate. Surely the Hurt Syndicate are going to squash them, but then you'd think that Max is going to intervene somewhat. But why would he need to intervene against those two?
Yeah,
I
right.
don't get it. It's like you say, it's just very disjointed, very... Okay.
Yeah,
Did I
you
ask?
think that maybe something interesting is going to go down with the way that maybe Max intervenes. Like, is it going to cause tension? Is he going to get kicked out straight away because he does something wrong? Who's actually going to be wrestling like in the match? Because I guess they could do a
There's a Hurt
Freebird
Syndicate.
thing. Well, they could do a Freebird thing where it's like Max could be wrestling. I don't know, but yeah, he's going to be involved somehow. So who knows? But to your point, exactly right. Why would he need to intervene against these two?
So then we had Okada backstage with Renee talking about Mike Bailey wanting a shot at the Continental title. Essentially, the match is booked through this interview, and then he had the ultimate heel move of not saying bitch. He was like, first time for everything. Then came back. Trust me. It was so funny. Okada's just so funny. And yeah, Speedball versus Okada, well, that's a hell of a match. What more could you want?
Yeah, just inject it. Inject it straight into my veins. I cannot wait.
Then we had Anthony Bowens against Ricochet, sort of like the honour of the scissors. These two easily played into each other, great foils for one another. Bowens got a really good showing, and I feel like I'm not quite there with Anthony Bowens yet. I'm not seeing anything that's completely blowing me away. I think he's good. I like him. He's nice. He's nice to watch in the ring. He's a nice guy. He's rootable, but he really does connect with the live crowd, is what I've noticed. He really gets the live crowd. He connects very, very well with them.
Yeah, people get behind him, don't they?
So I think it's like only a matter of time before I'm feeling it too. It's a bit of a shame, really, because when you think about it, as much as I do love Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, well, what about Anthony Bowens, who's like a mid-carder babyface? He's been in AEW longer, and he's doing nothing against Death Rise. He's doing nothing at all, quite frankly. You know, it just seems a bit harsh that like those two have kind of... And this is my thing when I'm saying about Megan Bain and stuff, is like people kind of cutting the line. But then I'm like, who would I rather watch against Okada, Bowens or Speedball? Yeah, I probably would rather see Speedball Mike Bailey. But you know what I mean? I still feel like
100%.
they could have made a place for him if they wanted to.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think it's a really good point. It's bringing in fresh new talent it's a great idea, yeah, but it's hard because would we be singing the praises of Anthony Bowens if he was, you know, in the same spots that Mike Bailey or Kevin Knight is in? Or would we be like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Can't say, can you, because he's not been given the chance, which is a shame for him. The thing is, like, you can't really turn him heel, because I feel like maybe a good storyline would be him like going after Kevin Natt or Mike Bailey and being like, well, you can't just come here and jump the line. What about me? I've been here since the
that'd be
beginning.
so good. That'd be so good.
But then he'd have to be heel probably for that to work, and I don't feel like that would be 100% appropriate. But yeah, just something simple like that would give him something to do, something meaningful.
Yeah. I just don't want him to end up in like collision purgatory, because I feel like there's a certain genre of wrestlers that just wrestle only on a Saturday night, such as Daniel Garcia. They don't have anything really to sink their teeth into, and it's just a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
And he got a tiny bit of momentum from breaking away from the Acclaimed. It's like, you know, you can't... I don't know.
Then what?
I just want good things for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not anything he's done wrong.
No. Yeah, so we had the discus forearm, rolling forearm. So Ricochet was laid out and he rolled out of the ring, so it was like Bowens' chance. He could have put the pin in. That's kind of how they sold it. Billy Gunn goes to intervene, but the ref intercepts. There's a scissors headshot to Bowens and the spirit gun, which lands Ricochet the win. So I really liked the win. I thought it was nice. It was just a case of inexperience of Bowens, not keeping him in the ring and being like, oh shit, I fucked up, and then Ricochet capitalising on that with his dirty tricks. So yeah, I thought that the match was fun.
It was, and I think that again is our point. Like, Bowens is not done out wrong. He's good. He's a good wrestler. He proved it in this. He can go in a singles match with someone as good, as fast paced as Ricochet, and totally not. He didn't look outclassed. He put on a great match. So it would be nice to see him a bit more, basically.
And his ring attire is so cute. I love like his little crop top moment. Like, just love his his looks. It's very cute. Then we had Matt Briscoe on the ramp with a stretcher, which is just hilarious. He spears the stretcher into Ricochet's midsection, and he sort of has him on top of the stretcher, goes to deliver the froggy bone, but Ricochet dodges. And again, I was a bit annoyed at this point. I was like, another faint out spot. I was like, I get it, you're trying to tease us. You're trying to tease us for double or nothing, but the live crowd, they still paid money. Give them something. Give them something. And they did in the end. But at this point, I was like, really?
I mean, fair enough. I don't think that's something that I picked up on. I was just kind of like, well, we're waiting for the pay-per-view, aren't we? But yeah, valid. But we get there.
Because at this point, I didn't think we were ever going to get any blood. I'm like, someone needs to get one blow at least. Because you can play it into a match, like, oh, this person got injured going into the match or whatever. I mean, the stretcher spot was a bit risky to do, I think, before the pay-per-view, because obviously there's a lot that can go wrong. I mean, it's a movable thing, But yeah, I mean, anyway, they resolved it in the end. And I ate my own words, so it doesn't matter. But yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Then we had Stokely with FTR and their contract for Sunday. And they're like, no, we want a live contract signing. So that's going to happen on Saturday.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Do I care? Not really.
Not really. We had Renee then hosting the face-to-face sit-down between Jamie Hayter and Mercedes. One of my favourite things about, I don't think I've ever actually mentioned this, but Renee and the way she sort of interviews people is, I'm not saying that other interviews don't care, but Renee, especially for the women, if you ever like listen to her own podcast or just like her own stuff that she does, she really loves the women so much and she roots for them so much. So when she's sort of in these positions, I just love her because it's just so authentic, and she genuinely is like so excited, like when she was introducing him and all that. Like I don't know, it's infectious. She's like a little fangirl, like a little hype woman.
Yeah.
For the women in particular, and I really like that.
Yeah, 100%. That's so true. She's so personable, isn't she? She just feels like
that's the
she's your mate, and you can tell she's mates with the people she's interviewing, and but not to the extent where it's like, she still plays up to like when there's a heel and things, but her reactions, she never feels like she's acting. It just feels like you say authentic. Yeah, she's just a very, very real, very lovely person.
Renee appreciation minutes of the podcast.
I was thinking like when she was in the ring, I was thinking if I was in the crowd, I'd be going crazy if Renee was in the ring. I'd be like, fuck yeah, Renee, I love you. I'd be popping mad.
We went crazy when they had the pre-show desk at the bottom of like where we were sat.
Yeah, we got to that seats.
Like RJ, Jeff Jarrett, Renee. We were like, what the hell? They were just there.
Yeah. We're so lame.
And then we had so this one was a different tone than the men's. This was a sit down. So Renee, as I said earlier, she had a bit more involvement in the segment.
Yeah.
And yeah, just different. So this was, Jamie Hayter had the first chance to speak, and it was a continuation of all of her gripes that she had with Mercedes, sort of continuing that on. I really liked Mercedes' line of, I'm the Beyonce of women's wrestling, because, yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with that. Fair enough. Monet is calm, Hayter is rattled, up until the point when she brings up her losing her New Japan Strong title. At which case, Mercedes
Yeah, clocks her.
meets, yeah, clocks her, and Hayter with the arm drag. Tony Storm comes out, and then that leads into the next segment. So yeah, this was fun, and it continued on what they'd already built upon. It was pretty much repeating what had been said. I feel like everything's been laid out. The groundwork had been laid out. Let's build it up a bit more, but it's like, yeah, we're ready for the match now. It's cooked. It's cooked.
Yeah, you don't need to add any more spice to the dish. It's already spicy enough.
Yeah.
It's just cooking. Yeah, I agree. There wasn't like mind-blowing things that they could add to this, but it was still effective. And I liked the way it was different from the one earlier on in the night, like the other sort of promo battle. I think it's difficult for them to come after that, and people would obviously compare them and be like, oh, well, the Hangman one was better, but I think it was just different. I liked Jamie's point of like, for me, it's about not being forgotten, which I think rings really true, especially like for any wrestler, but in the women's division in AEW, you can, especially the fact that she was out for so long, you sort of sense that there's probably a bit of realness in her saying that. She probably does actually mean that. She doesn't want to get lost in the shuffle. So I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I feel like there's a like a argument to be had for either of these women to win and go on to fight for the belt. And I think either option would be interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hunger from Jamie Hayter, and like I said, it's very authentic. It's not just for the sake of it. Yeah, everything that she's kind of saying has legitimacy, including her gripes with Mercedes. You can see her perspective and why she might feel that way. So yeah, just looking forward to seeing how this is going to translate to a match and seeing how they deliver. I mean, Mercedes has been on an absolute streak of brilliant matches lately. So
Yeah.
and you know, Hayter's always been great in the ring. She never had a problem with it. So I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, 100%. Me too. I think this will be I want to say like a sleeper. I don't think that people have low expectations of it, but I feel like it could be overshadowed by other matches of the card, and I think that some people might be caught off guard by it. So hopefully it lives up to our expectations.
Yep. So then, let's say Tony Storm came out and she was on commentary for the following match, which was Julia Hart against Mina Shirakawa.
Fun the way that they bled into each other, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because the whole thing is for the Owen Hart, uh, to win the Owen Hart title and then go on and have a title shot. And it was very similar to the men's segment earlier when they had the 6-man
Oh
afterwards.
yeah, it was exactly the
very
same.
beautifully mirrored and paralleled,
Yeah.
and put the title at the forefront. So yeah, I absolutely love Mina. It's great to see her more on TV, and she was really having fun with it. She's so infectious, as is Tony Storm. So having them both there was just insane aura. And then the serious character of Julia Hart being a foil for Mina's shenanigans was really nice as well. Really, really great to see those two. And I thought Mina was just, I mean, she's just amazing in the ring, and she's just such a great character, great personality, and then but she can really fucking go. Like she can make it look easy and have a bit of fanfare and have a bit of silliness, but like she can lock in and beat the shit out of you as well, which I love.
100%. She's so tough, and like everything she does looks very. It's always really smooth, and it also looks really hard hitting and quite real as well. Like her strikes, for instance, always look really crisp. Um,
Chris.
she's so cute but deadly at the same time.
Uh, so the conclusion to this match with Julia missing the moonsault, landing pretty harshly on her ankle. There was a few roll-ups, Mina assuming control, but she was able to lock in the final roll-up, which was quite tightly locked in. But yeah, it was a pretty close call because it was like, oh, Julia's kind of missed her move. Surely Mina's gonna pick up the advantage. And I mean, she did, but the way they did it, it wasn't as A to B. It was a bit like, oh, is she not? Oh,
Yeah.
she is. Oh, and it was very well done. Very, very good tournament wrestling.
I loved that match. Like it's like the ending, because it really did feel like it could go either way. The finish was very back and forth. And yeah, like Mina winning on the reversal, like sort of reversing the momentum to get sort of like a roll up. And I quite like that as well because Tony often wins with something like that, doesn't she? So, like parallels there.
Yeah. So then we had Julia from behind with Mina. She was focusing on Tony Storm. And we had the lock-in of the figure of four. Sky Blue comes in to level the odds, which was pretty cool, pretty exciting to see Julia and Sky together. And then we had Tony Storm with the German coming in on Sky Blue, which I think Tony and Mina's dynamic is really fun.
Yeah.
Same way as Mina's was with Mariah, in that there's a lot of love there, but when it comes down to it, they will, not be afraid to come to blows. But that is her girl also at the end of the day. Even though she's going to be fighting her on Bloody Sunday. But yeah, and then Mina and Tony got into it, and we had that really nasty looking figure of four on the ring post. After Tony Storm earlier been like, can't get my thighs apart, you need a crowbar. Like, that part cracked me up. But yeah, I mean, don't need a crowbar, you just need a ring post apparently. But yeah, very nasty looking, and comms were putting that over like, oh, that's going to play a part in the match, and that'll be fun with, as you say, Mina Shirakawa, very hard hitting striker. Tony Storm, she's going to have to be a bit wily, she's going to have to be a bit, probably a roll up victory. I imagine, who else is going to play into it? I mean, yeah, we've got the Hayter and Mercedes Monet stuff going on, but part of me is like still looking at my rearview mirror like, Megan Bain, are you on the horizon?
Oh, God.
On the horizon or something? I don't know, but yeah, lots going into that match.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think, yeah, like I've already said, I think that Mina she's got. I think it's laid out in this match that she's got the skills to beat Tony. So I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, even though but like,
Well,
still, it's a fun journey. So then, like I said, I totally forgot. I was like, why the hell is there 9 minutes left? Like, what's going on? And then Renee, she's there with the books, and it's just this great comedic moment of them with the suitcases being like, well, didn't they say that they were going to come beat us up? They didn't. And then Show being there with the bin, Hobbs, the Death Riders, Willow, Swerve, Shibata, Kenny. The faces sort of had the advantage throughout this brawl. Until Gabe Kidd arrives and kind of levels him out. We had the EVPs setting up the table. They foreshadowed earlier with the elbow drops on Kenny and Swerve. And I also really enjoyed Kenny and Swerve's moment when they did the V-trigger and the house call on the Young Bucks a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, completely laid him out. And the music was playing. It was Anarchy in the Arena. It was the full... it was the trailer, it was the prelude, it was what is going to come. And suddenly me, who's been like, well, I feel like, where is my spot? Like SpongeBob, where is my drink, my Diet Kelp drink? I was waiting on that. And then it was like, fucking hell, every spot in the bloody wrestling universe coming at me. I was like, okay,
like,
ask and you shall receive.
That pizza in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was fun. It felt quite goofy at parts, like quite a goofy brawl, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it was entertaining, it was chaotic. And again, we had Joe choking out Moxley towards the end. And it I think you mentioned it, didn't you? And then that's when Gabe Kidd came in to break it up. So interesting.
We can get into that with our predictions, I think, in a second. But unless you have anything else to add on the match, where are you sitting on for a rating?
Oh yeah, we have to rate. I was thinking ahead to doing predictions. I haven't even really thought about doing a rating. I don't think it was as good as last week, to be honest. I don't think I'd put it at a 9.5.
I'm in the 9 camp, but I'm like, the start of the show really was a 9, but it could have been a 9.5 because that trios was so good, and the opening promo was so good. But it's not that it fell off at any point. It's just that set the bar so high. I think if the show was restructured, but then how would you do that? Because you want to have the Anarchy thing at the end. But I think if they'd had more of the stuff in the second half at the start and maybe the promo battle a little bit later, even though I really liked the way the show was structured, but I just think, yeah, because it's like you started so high and then like it just kind of plateaued a bit. And then the ending was exciting, but at the end of the day, the main event is Hangman Ospreay for a reason. So, like, my mind was still with them even throughout the ending because of all the groundwork they'd laid at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I can rest on I think a 9 is reasonable.
Yeah. So, 9, we're happy with that. That's where... And I mean, Dynamite recently has been doing an absolutely fantastic run, hasn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So many great episodes, such great quality. And like I say, the season we're in right now, everything that... I mean, even when the graphic came up for All Out, I was like, bloody hell, yeah, All Out's the thing, innit? I fucking forgot about that. It's almost like a bit of fatigue. It's just too much good wrestling, and what a problem to have.
First world problems.
First world problems, yeah, definitely. But let's get into the predictions. I've got the poster up, so I'm not too sure if there's anything on the pre-show. I've got the lovely... It won't focus, but the lovely graphic. The graphics department really popped off on this one.
Yeah, it looks so.
Yeah, from the grains that you can see. But let's start off with the match that we really don't give a shit about, and that is Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia versus FTR.
No, listen, I give a shit about Nigel McGuinness. I give many shits about Nigel McGuinness. All my shits are given to Nigel in this match. No one else. I don't really care. Nigel, love him. But I'm gonna give the win to FTR because obviously, you know, they're the heels and they're on this run and they're probably gonna kill Nigel. As much as it pains me to say it.
Nigel's going to be the fodder in this match, and Stokely's going to be on the outside. He's going to have some antics.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, 100%.
I don't think this is Danny's time to start a redemption run. I feel like this is not his time to shine.
I still just don't get it, because even if they take Nigel McGuinness out, now it's back to a single guy feuding with the tag team that want to be taken as serious and want to go chase the gold. To me, that, and I said about it last week, it makes absolutely 0 sense.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think it's such a good point. Like, why would he on his own beef with the tag team? Because where'd you go from there? I don't know. I don't really think this is going to go anywhere.
But he's going to have to, though, isn't he? Because, like, he's going to be like, you beat up Nigel McGuinness.
I can't see it going any further than this. It should, logically, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, so it's a catch-22, because if it doesn't go forward, it's like, well, that's illogical, and if it does, you're like, well, what the hell? But yeah, FTR, they're not a new act, but this new version of them is a new act, and they want to keep that build being strong. And yeah, I mean, I am excited to see Nigel McGuinness, but the reason why I said I don't give a shit is because, like I say, it's like he's going to be fodder. It's not going to give what it needs to give.
Yeah, I feel like for the fact that it's his third match since retiring, it doesn't have very big excitement around it, sadly.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to the other one. I mean, I don't know who could win between the Hurt Syndicate against the Sons of Texas. Who could surely win
What a
this?
difficult one to predict, eh? Sammy Guevara, clean win.
Oh, Sammy getting the pin. That's actually how I'll get excited about this. Sammy getting the pin. You gotta make like your own predictions.
Don't speak that into existence. Hurt Syndicate ovs.
No, I meant Sammy getting the pin.
Oh, getting pinned.
Sammy getting the clean pin between him and Dustin. That's my prediction. Is I hope that it's Sammy that gets the pin. That's how I'll get enjoyment from the match. Not Sammy Guevara getting the clean pin.
I thought you meant like that would just be so bad it'd be hilarious. I was like,
oh, that would be so bad it'd be hilarious. Yeah.
I was like, sadistic, but okay.
Then we got Ricochet against Matt Briscoe. I think once again, Matt Briscoe is just playing. I can't see him winning. It's Ricochet
No,
all
me
the way.
neither. I mean, I'd like to disagree with you just
Bless
for the
him.
sake of like, debate and stuff, but I completely agree with you.
That's
There's
the thing about Matt Briscoe though. Like
no
he's
way.
great, but they never give him a win. So it's like in cases like this, when it's on TV, I think it's fine. But when it's on the pay-per-view, it's a bit lame because
Yeah.
there's no
I mean, I could
there's
maybe
no.
maybe he gets his feel good moment, but I'd be surprised.
So these other two matches are pretty predictable as well. We've got Kazuchika Okada. I absolutely just like had a meltdown there. Okada versus Speedball Mike Bailey for the Continental title. Obviously, Okada is gonna continue on until we get the match against Kenny and
Oh,
the
yeah.
the undisputed title. That's where we're heading to, aren't we? The undisputed
Yeah, I
champion.
think you're probably right. I feel like there's maybe an argument to be had that Mike Bailey needs it more, like in this sort of run.
No way! Is
He just
Mike
started.
Bailey getting a pin over
Yeah, yeah,
Okada?
okay, okay. If it was against anyone else, yeah, you could.
Not Okada.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'll
You're
be
right.
mad.
You're right. But
But
just
this is on a mad one.
he's a young career professional. He needs the rub.
Just a rub.
But it'll be one of those cases
Yeah.
where he loses, but everyone's like, well, he didn't get buried. He doesn't look any worse for it. He put on a fantastic match. What a great moment for him. That's yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be a great match. Like these two in the ring will kill it. Similarly to Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa, obviously Tony is going to win, but it will still be a great match.
Yeah.
Then we've got the three matches where there are actual stakes,
Mhm.
which are well, we'll do it in order. I believe it'll be Mercedes Monet versus Jamie Hayter. I think Monet is taking it. Personally, I really cannot see Hayter winning.
Yeah.
I just can't.
As much as I know we've praised this feud and it's been good and Hayter's been great on the mic, I don't really believe that she can beat Mercedes in kayfabe or in, like just speaking in terms of a booking decision. I don't think it's likely. I feel like
Also, it's your biggest show of the year. You're going to put the biggest draw on, and that's Mercedes Tony. And when else are you going to get a time to do it? Because, yeah, she's dropped one belt, but, like, she's still in a belt collector era, so it makes sense that she would want to go after, and, like, you're going to think, oh, maybe she will, because she's got all these belts. Whereas if you did it in the future, saying she was still TBS champion, Tony was women's champion, didn't have all these other belts on her, it's not going to feel as effective as in this moment.
yeah, 100%. It's just if you don't strike that iron while it's hot on like Tony versus Mercedes, it's a huge missed opportunity. So yeah.
And Jamie Hayter, in my opinion, she's just still got a bit of a way to go, like in her character and stuff. And I think the stuff I've been seeing recently, that promo last night was really good. And
Yeah.
I think I felt more conviction from it on this sit down interview than the one she did previously, where I was like,
Yes.
well, you really don't seem to kind of, that whole I don't care about being. I don't even know if I can beat you. I don't like just that lack of confidence.
Yeah,
There was a lot more
exactly.
assertiveness in this promo. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got Anarchy in the arena. I believe that the Death Riders and the Young Bucks are going to win because I'm going to lead it into my Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page thing. In that those two are faces, they will end the show on a high. It'll be a feel good moment no matter who wins. They'll have the showing of respect.
Yeah.
So the
Yes.
Death Riders winning in Anarchy in the arena, because you can't have the faces winning both matches. You can't have, Kenny Swerve and all that winning and being like, yay, and then the feel good moment of Hangman and Will Ospreay, unless they do a post match beatdown, which I just don't think would be appropriate. I think, have the Death Riders look strong in their actual physical match and have that feel good, morale lifting moment of we've got our fighting champion, we've got our hero, whomever that may be.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I mean, you're absolutely 100% correct, I think. It just wouldn't make sense for, like you say, for them, like the Opps to stand tall and then go on to the match where it's like, who's going to face Moxley? Like, why do I care who's going to face Moxley if he's just been beaten? Um, so yeah, you've convinced me. I mean, I want to disagree for this, I want to disagree, but I don't really see it happening unless we, get a return of Eddie Kingston and he puts Moxley out or something like that.
But even still, you've got Gabe Kidd in your arsenal. You've got,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I believe that we're also going to see Jack Perry coming back as well. I think Mr. Jack Perry is going to come and level the odds
Oh,
because we haven't seen him in a while either.
oh
Scapegoat
my.
being the difference maker, baby.
Oh,
Like, oh,
fucking hell.
that's part of the fantasy booking.
Damn. What if Darby comes back and he helps the others win?
Oh, I don't know. It's what I mean. These three matches. I know we're saying 100% Mercedes, but I still think there is an argument to be made for Jamie Hayter. There's just some good stakes going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because there's implications for future matches that really matter, that
Yeah.
make these three so interesting. But I don't think that the Death Riders are losing this match still. But it's
No, I
interesting to
agree.
consider all the different ways it could go.
Because all in, that's going to be where they're finally laid out. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you want to keep them strong until that. And then we've got Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. So I didn't allude to it earlier, but I am 100% in the camp that Hangman Adam Page is going to win. Swerve will become world champion. We're going to get at some point Hangman versus Swerve Strickland. It's happening. Get on board. This is it. This is it.
Right, okay. Well, this is where we're going to disagree.
Whoa!
After watching that first opening segment,
But that's what convinced me that it's going to be Hangman.
nah,
The opening segment.
it convinced me the opposite way. I'm 100% certain that Ospreay is 100% winning this match, and
No,
we're going to go down the path where Hangman is going to help him beat Moxley, and that's going to be Hangman's redemption. He's like, I've done the right thing. I may not have won that match, but I've been the bigger man and I've defeated the greater good for it. And that's his redemption. He's like, it was worth it after all. I'm not a failure.
No.
And for
No.
Big
Hangman.
Dog, it's
Hangman.
a big session because everyone's really happy because
No.
their bruv Ospreay is champ.
No. Hangman is going to beat Will Ospreay. He's going to beat John Moxley. Swerve Strickland is going to be fuming, bro. He's going to be fuming because he took that title from him. And then we're going to get a Swerve versus Hangman at Forbidden Door, and Swerve is going to turn heel, which is what I've wanted for so long, and it's going to happen. Hangman is going to fully orbit round. He's going to be face. He's going to be locked in. And what they don't want is what they had last time when Hangman was champion and he kind of plateaued. He still needs that fire, so you still need the Swerve Strickland thing.
Man.
It makes more sense, right? Hangman's a day one. He's like an OG. Again, it's like where do you go though? Ospreay can recover if he doesn't win this world title.
True.
Hangman, this is like his last option. He needs it. And the way Ospreay was talking at the end, where he was like, "Yeah, you can beat Mox, and I probably can't," and and then the way he was like at the end, I'll be your friend and I'll be the one standing by your side. That was telling me that Ospreay is going to help Hangman. And eventually, when Hangman is champion and he's defeated Swerve, we will get Hangman Ospreay and they'll meet as equals at the top in the world title scene.
Oh, wow. I can't believe we took it in the complete opposite directions. I
I know, because I was so sure you would agree with me.
How did we both?
Because I'm thinking it's too simple. It's too simple. Ospreay winning just because he's British, bruv, and the O2, bruv. It's too much of a Cinderella story. It's not nuanced enough.
I know.
And Tony Khan, he's been sniffing some bags, and he's been staying up late, and he's been on Twitter, and he's like raging. His eyes are wide, and he's like,
Twitter,
yeah, he's got his whiteboard up behind him. He's got like in like
it's funny,
a crime thing where there's like all the photos up and the newspapers, and he's like, it's all coming together, baby, and this is where it's going to conclude.
Well, I think I agree with you, right? To this, I think it is too simple. It is too simple. I want Hangman to win, but I don't think he's
manifest
going to,
it
because listen, Danielson, for example, winning it all in, it's a similar situation. It's the fairy tale moment. It writes itself. It feels like that to me.
Yeah, but we're not in a fairy tale right now. We're in a different landscape.
Cowboy
we're in a different
nightmare.
Landscape. We're in a cowboy night. Exactly. We need someone who's rough around the edges and a bit fucked up to beat John Moxley, to take him toe to toe. And his whole thing, right? Ospreay was like, the boys in the back don't respect you. If he beats John Moxley, the boys in the back will respect him.
Yeah, but you know what else? If he helps Ospreay beat Mox, and the boys in the back will respect him even more.
Damn. No, he's I'm sorry, he's beating it. If he's beating him 100%, it's happening. Well,
please do let us know in the comments whose camp are you in, who was right and who's wrong.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Because how exciting is this? Like, we're at this point where there's so many paths and directions to go down that it's genuinely like...
And then it just turns out to be Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You know that Tony Khan is on Twitter, because did you see like the drama with Mina's entrance music last week?
His entrance music?
Mina's...
oh, yeah, Mina's entrance music. Yeah, because she had the different music.
Yeah, so she came out to different music, and then in the middle of the match, people were tweeting like, what the hell, Tony, change it back. And he replied to them. They hadn't even atted him, by the way. He replied to them being like, I've already changed it. And then when she won, it was back to normal again. It's like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Scrolling. Get on the monitor.
Got that phone under his desk, just...
But I genuinely think that Tony Khan's not decided. I can just picture it. He's like,
he wakes up in the middle of the night in like a cold sweat. Like, he's like, he like had a bad dream where he made the wrong decision, and everyone on Twitter was going crazy. He's like,
British fairy.
He runs to that whiteboard. He like starts writing things down in the middle of the night.
Cowboy nightmare, British fairy tale. I feel like he's not sure. So we'll find out. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Very high stakes pay-per-view. Very, very high stakes. A lot of fun fluff around it. A lot of predictable matches, but a lot of fun fluff. And then the heart of the matter. And the fact that the Death Rider stuff is the most exciting stuff. And the main event thing is the most exciting stuff, when it's kind of felt like a chore the past few pay-per-views of like, It's very exciting.
Payoff, baby. You got to be in it for the long term. It's all about the payoff.
So yeah, I think that concludes.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered everything in quite a lot of depth. So do comment your predictions in the comment section, or like, I don't know, if you listen on Spotify, you can at me on Twitter or something. I don't know. I don't think Spotify has a comment section. But yeah, let us know what you thought of our review. Do you agree? Who's right about the Owen Hart final? I'm looking forward to just to find out. I'm very, very, very excited. So, and that's a really nice place to be as a wrestling fan, and just feeling the anticipation. It's so lovely. So I've enjoyed doing this review, and if you've enjoyed it as well, please do give us a thumbs up or a rating on Spotify. Five stars, please, would be so helpful. And if you just randomly stumbled across us, do subscribe if you've not already. Thank you very much for listening.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good
wish you died in the womb.